Action. All right. We are live. All right. Peace and love, family. What's going on? It is your boy, Mario Quinn, and we are here with yet another episode of the Level Up Podcast. I'm super duper excited. We're moving along past 100. We're at episode 102. Woo! Can't believe it. Super excited about that, family. But thank you so much for joining us today. I got a very special guest in the house with us today. I got my boy Sabali. How you feeling, brother?
Peace, King. I'm good. Blessed and highly favored.
I love that. I say ill blessed and highly favored all the time.
Yep.
My mom used to say that, and that's my mantra.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I feel like I went through a spiral in life where I read the book Blessed and Highly Favored. And my mom had handed it to me. She still be arguing with me because I haven't given it back.
Right.
I had to adopt the mantra.
Right. That's what's up, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you being here, being on time. I apologize for starting a little this evening. My boy Sweater Bob came at me about it, but it's okay. I still love him.
He's a bully.
He's a bully.
Appreciate you having me. This is a dope setup, you guys.
Thank you, man. We got something new. But anywho, let the people know, man. I know what you do, but there's people out here who may not know what you do. Let the people know exactly what it is you do here in Pittsburgh, and of course, I know you say you're in Youngstown as well. So what is it that you do, brother?
Yes, sir. So my name is Sabali. I'm from Braddock. I'm an artist out here in the city. I spit music. I also have a couple different brands, family brands that we rock with. One is called Alchemaic, so it's basically Alchemy Affirmative Energy Creations, where we create pieces like this, custom art pieces.
Okay.
Where basically
crystals?
It's crystals,
okay.
Yeah. And we wrap the crystals in different wiring. So sometimes copper, sometimes aluminum. We're about to start getting into like 24 karat pure gold.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be like our luxury line. But basically we try to utilize mental alchemy to uplift and change your internal thinking to be able to change your outer world. Because we can't really, I feel like a lot of people say they want to change the world. When I was younger, I always be like, I want to change the world.
Right.
But for real, to change the world, you got to change your internal self first. You know what I'm saying?
It's like that "be the change" quote.
Exactly.
Are you familiar with the 7 Hermetic principles?
Not yet, but that sounds mad up.
Yeah, it's Hermes, Thoth, whatever, Tahuti. But there's one called mentalism.
Okay.
And it's all about
you know what?
Changing your perspective. Yeah, changing your perspective in order to change your environment.
Exactly. And once you're able to do that, I feel like in life, everybody goes through that awakening process. Like we were talking about earlier, going through the emo stages of life and stuff like that. Like once we go through those lows, you start to realize that within those lows, you done been blaming the world. But once you start to take accountability and you start trying to change your outlook, everything starts to be better. Just being waking up and starting your day with gratitude changes your whole day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, being grateful. I tell people this. I have a alarm that goes off every day at 8 p.m. Because that's normally when I have some downtime. You know what I mean? But it's my grateful alarm. Every time it goes off, I'm like, okay, I'm grateful for my day. I'm grateful for my family. You know what I'm saying? And it's helped me a lot, man. Just stay in that state because shit's always gonna happen. Right?
Exactly.
Life is always gonna throw you a curveball. Just recently I had a curveball thrown at me, and I'm not gonna speak on it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm cool. Ancestors got me. The Creator got me. I'm grateful for what I do have, and I know that what I want will come.
Exactly. Everything happens in divine order, and once you believe in that divine order, can't nothing block you.
Right. Speaking of order, can you talk a little bit about how you got into being an artist? How you what made you decide to also to tackle the being an entrepreneur and a business person?
Oh yeah, definitely. So like I said, I grew up in Braddock. As far as entrepreneurship, that's something that has always been around me from my mom. My mom had to hustle, literally she had to hustle to make sure we were taken care of. She adopted me, my brother, and my sister.
Oh, wow.
3 kids that could have been put into the system, could have been separated. She decided no, she had it in her heart. She was just our neighbor. We would call her a grandma type.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's how close we were. Wow. And so she decided to take us all in. And just throughout life, I always watched her hustle. She had restaurants. When she didn't have the restaurant, she would sell dinners out the house.
Oh, wow.
She would have me create the signs and everything for her. Because as far as artistry, I've been into drawing and stuff like that since I was young, and reading a lot. So I would read a lot of anime, manga and stuff like that. And I would draw a lot of Dragon Ball Z, Digimon. Those was my favorite mediums when I was younger. And then over time I would keep building on that. Mm-hmm. Then I remember in 7th grade we all started getting into like music, like heavily. Like people would start talking about like, oh, Wayne had the hottest mixtape and stuff like that. Or but it's crazy when everybody was on the Wayne tip, I was going back further because like my uncle had realized like, oh, you like hip hop? You don't know nothing about it. You gotta know the roots. He put me on to Kush Groove. Okay. And Kush Groove is like,
now, I've never heard of Kush Groove.
Never heard of Kush Groove.
I feel like a loser.
Never heard of Kush Groove. I'm about to school you right now. So Kush Groove was the movie that showed the starting of Def Jam.
Oh, okay.
It's had Run DMC before he was the Rev, Run and DMC, Jam Master Jay. It had freaking what was her name? The Fat Boys was in there. LL Cool J when he first like started, like the way he introduced himself to Rick Rubin and everything like that. Like it's the start, like literally the start of hip hop as we know it as a commercial being. Like so it's crazy because like he put me onto that movie, and the biggest part in that movie I remember was when LL Cool J barged into their Rick Rubin's dorm room, and he like had the security with him. They have their security or whatever, and they're like, "Yo, what you doing in here, bro? What's going on?" And then he goes, "Box," and he asked them to hit me with the box, and he hits him with the "My radio, believe me, I like it loud. I'm the man with the box that can rock the crowd." And I remember feeling like so much power in that moment. I fell in love with it, and then like me, my boy Sweater Bob, my sister, we would be on the porch. We had a green table. We would be sitting there making beats, and we were freestyle. We would do like freestyle Fridays because of Wild and Out and everything like that. My sister took the music way more serious than I did at the time because like I was real in my bubble. So my art was internal. So I would write poetry and stuff like that. I would write raps, but I wouldn't recite them because I was nervous about it. But like with them, I was a little bit more comfortable. They would just go off. Bob always had, I got this line where I say, Bob had bars I was trying to reach. Excuse me. Bob had bars I was trying to reach because he always was so technical with how he freestyled. Like, literally like a finesse like no other. Shout out to Bob. I gotta hear you freestyle, dog. I've never heard you. His joint fire. We gotta hear something. I want to hear something. But so from there, I just started growing, and I remember shout out to Day Cools. I don't know if a lot of people know him. I know him. I've been a fan for a long time. But we was in the same English class, and me, him, and my boy Damon, we would sit there and compare our little hip hop, our little songs or whatever that we was writing, and he would hit me with, and he was always on like the Drake and Cole. He actually introduced me to Cole, where like I was on Drake and Kendrick at the time. I'm like, Kendrick's the hardest, and he's like, bro, you think Kendrick's hard? Let me show you Cole. And so like it was like in that time frame, I was falling more and more deep in love with it, and then we got older, and Bob actually challenged me. He was like, yo, just write something. Then we went to the studio. We started recording. We had a whole group and everything. Like it was fun time.
Dope, man. That's such a cool story, man. And this what makes it really dope is like you get to share that with your friends. You know what I mean? Like people you grew up with, being able to be where you are now, and they're still there. They're still in your corner and everything like that. And that's really dope. So I commend you guys for that, man. Good shit. I still want to hear you rap though.
Yeah, definitely.
So what would you say like excites you the most about what it is that you do?
I think what excites me the most is one, challenge myself to be creative in a way where like I used to write more so for just me, right? I would be writing around my problems or whatever, and it'd be only a story that I feel like I could relate to. Not realizing that there's other people that can relate to your story, but basically I challenge myself now to write to a point where like I'm writing to the next person. Like take yourself out of it a little bit and be able to connect with people more. You know what I'm saying? Give them something to hold on to. You know what I'm saying? I feel like also
distant relatives, man, like that.
Like distant relatives. Exactly. And then it's like, and it's one of those things where like I feel like it's all art is extensions of your soul. Right. We're just bringing it to fruition. So like even just to create this piece, like I was thinking about the Egyptian eye and the fact that this stone is like layers. It's a septenary.
Oh, you do got the eye around.
Yup.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But it's like all I did was I started with one coil, and it turned into this, and it was just like because I was focusing on that energy, I was focusing on the thought energy because or Tahuti, however you choose to address it. Exactly, it's all the same. It's just different people who tell the story.
Right.
But basically, it was the first day of the Kemetic calendar, and I was choosing to focus on that energy, and we were leaving Patal, which is the creator as well. So it was just like, and it formed into this piece. And it's like for me, the piece is so much more because it's like, I was on a frequency in tune with the ancients type thing, and I got to put it out there, and just to see it in fruition is creation at its finest, you know. And I feel like that's the music as well. Like it's a baby. It's just I remember when things are just like little words that you just jotted to like, this is the subject that I want to cover, and then once you put it together and it sounds melodic with the beat, and this is crazy.
No, that's dope, and I feel you on that, man. Because I have a lot of times in creating, it's like when you try to like force ideas out, like sometimes it works. Don't get me wrong. If you got a hot beat, you vibe and you're in the studio doing your thing, you can create something great. But some of like my greatest work is when I wasn't trying. I was just trusting the process and just kind of letting the music speak to me and just let the words flow out. And then I'm like, I listen back like, damn, that shit's hot. Like, yo, that's crazy, you know. So no, that's really dope, man. I love that. So it's all about being patient with yourself. It's all about you know, trusting the energy that you enter the room with, and then using that to you know create. And sometimes you know the best stuff comes out of that. So. All right, you kind of answered this a little bit because you're good. You're a good talker. I like that. I appreciate it. So, what? Describe a time when you had to think outside of the box for a show or performance. No, I kind of knew it.
Okay.
Because I've seen you perform.
All right. So yeah, I will go to the last performance. Yeah. Yep. So last performance, we were performing for the Kind Hearts and Poetry and Me event. What was the event called? Be Loud or Be You?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
It was Maya Wright's event. Maya Wright's event. So Maya Wright, shout out to Maya Wright. She's an amazing poet. And so I came into it with the idea of like, yo, I haven't taken the stage in over a year. So I was like, I want to come into it with the type of energy where like, I'm telling you what you're about to get without you getting it. So like, I created part of Alchemic is we do the crystals, but we also do like custom t-shirt prints. So I created the t-shirt. I'm gonna show it to the audience here. It says "Take Charge" with the fist on it. And the whole time, all day, I'm basically promoting the song that I'm about to perform on a subliminal level. And I feel like it built up all this energy for when it was time for me to take the stage and actually deliver it to everybody. And I feel like it's such a powerful piece that I haven't released it digitally yet. It's one of the things I've just been holding on to for when the project comes. But like I was like, yo, I want to give people a taste because it's been that long. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I feel like just that was my scheme. And then once it came time to take the mic and deliver, the energy in the room was just outstanding. We started with the message. I feel like just it was like everybody was meditating in the room on the same frequency, and then like I just took hold of that and boom with it.
Yeah. So you added the. I think I remember you added like a prayer and everything like that. Is that the message?
It was like basically just it was like a uplifting poem at the end of the piece, the message to royalty. And basically with that, I just wanted to emphasize the message that was in the song. So like the subject matter of the song was for the kings and queens in these rooms to get out your own way, because like we were saying before, like we create our reality. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be in your mind thinking everything's bad. Right. Then also all you want to see is everything's bad.
I mean, I know people who are like that, who like all it is like, oh, I'm sick, I'm this and that, and then like, hey, you always sick.
Exactly.
Because you keep telling yourself you sick.
Exactly.
Or you telling yourself you broke, or you know. So yeah, man, words are powerful, y'all. And the universe is listening, and so is your brain.
You are the universe.
I said the universe is listening, and so is your brain.
Facts.
You know, but I mean your conscious. You know. So I have a question. It might be hard for me to like articulate it, but I'm gonna try my best. So you're a very like, spiritual person. I don't, whatever that means, but like I could tell you're very like in tune with energy, with spirit, with source and all that. And sometimes we, especially as artists, especially when you want to make that your message, like helping people and like getting people to kind of understand different concepts. How do you work around keeping your music relevant and like cool enough and listenable, right? While also having those subliminal things in there and like being spiritual and bringing that kind of vibe to it. Like how do you balance that out?
That's a good question. Really good question.
Because I be trying and I'm like, I don't want to sound corny. Like I don't, I have phases, man. I had I'm talking about over the top hotel phase. Like so where like if you didn't eat, if you wasn't vegan, I wasn't talking to you. Like it was like extreme. You know what I'm saying? And I thought I knew everything until I realized real knowledge is when you accept that you don't know anything.
Exactly.
But yeah, please unpack that.
Okay, that's a really good question. I would say that my approach to it, like I think everything goes through like a process where like, okay, I'll write a song and get a feel for a song, or I'll write like a couple notches of the verse, right? And I'll be like, okay, this was cool, but sometimes we overwrite because we start to think like, yo, I want to get all this information in there right now. Yup, get the syllables right. Like it all got to be on point. Like you're going over your Cassidy scheme. Like each syllable has to rhyme. You know what I'm saying? But then you take it back and you start to forget the message. So like we'll go on flow. Like a lot of my songs, they don't start condensed. They started really, really long where I'm just jotting down thought. And then one of my teachers in English class, shout out to Miss G from Willow Hills Junior High. She said, she always told us, you can always go back and revise. You can always go back and revise. And sometimes a little goes a long way. So basically, I'll start to try and gravitate to that point. All right, what was too much? What is mucky? Like as if I'm writing like a essay for school or something like that. Right. What's too much? What's saying too much? I start to take it out. But sometimes with like my song Meditate happened so fluently because I was able to, like you said, give trust to the process. Allow, like I would literally light my Palo Santo. Shout out to my fiance who introduced me to the sages and the Palo Santo. I feel like in that process, it boosted my spiritual presence within my process. So I lit my sage, my Palo Santo, and I sat there, let the music play and vibe, breathe. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting into a meditative state. So I want to talk about meditation. So I started with the hook, and the hook just came. Then the verse, everything literally just poured out in alignment. And I feel like that was just ultimate trust in what the message of the song was, being in alignment. I feel like for some of my other songs were like Check My Initials. It's the state of where you're at. So Check My Initials was meant to be something that's like super like hardcore. I want to rap to you guys. I want you guys to hear my story in a way that's condensed, but also like you're gonna feel these punches. Like so, I tell my college story in that piece, and it's like, but I feel like that song didn't get finished for 3 years. I started the first verse. The first verse was so fire, I couldn't follow up. I couldn't follow up. I was like, yo, I really didn't know how to follow up.
I've been there. Yeah.
So then I ran it by one of my boys from college. His name is Calvin. I ran it by him, and he was like, it was like basically because I was channeling in that when I was writing that verse, I was channeling one of my friends, Marrero, that passed away. He was like one of the cats that we would roll with and smoke with in college or whatever. And I was sitting at a gazebo at that, and that was part of our routine. Like when we would smoke, we would either go on burn runs or we would smoke at the gazebo.
Right.
So I felt like in the gazebo, I just started meditating on his energy. I came up with the first verse, And then I think it took for his confirmation. He was like, yeah, bro, you're on point. And then that gave me the like motivation to be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna keep going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I feel like sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's a little. It all depends on what kind of song you're trying to put out there.
Right.
Especially in this day and age with like how some people's attention span ain't gonna be able to gravitate to the super lyrical.
Too much lyrics. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Did you hear Nas's new album?
Loved it.
Dude, I feel like what you just said, he did. It's definitely lyrical, but he like
condensed
those cadences, like how he was saying shit was just like, I was like, thank you.
Yep. He was still
really
slick.
Did your shit, you know?
Still slick, still layered.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was condensed enough for the young TikTok to take in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the beats crazy. And also Eminem's verse on the one joint.
Eminem's verse, I had to listen to it.
I hate Eminem, man.
He's so technical. He's so technical. I had to listen to that shit. I listened to it the first time. There was a couple shit that went over my head. Right. I was like, yo, it's M, so I got to go back and listen the second time. Right. Second time, I was like, yo, this dude's a fucking monster, yo. He's really nasty, bro. Nasty.
Crazy. I only listened to it once. So I haven't had a chance to like sit down and re-listen to the whole project,
bro. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I think one of my favorite store run on that joint. Store run was powerful to me because it was just like a story about sending somebody on the store run. But at the same time,
I think my favorite joint was that Rare. Was it called Rare?
Yeah,
joint.
That joint's fire too. That joint's fire.
Crazy.
And nice. He got Lauryn Hill to come out her hiding. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like who else could do that?
Only Nas. Only Nas. But yeah, man. So enough of Nas. More about you. So I have another question. I'm sorry, I'm going off script right now.
Oh, you go.
Just because like it interests me when I meet people who are at a higher vibration, and a higher way of thinking. I like to pick their brain. So my wife and I, on Sunday? On Sunday, Sunday. Yesterday was Sunday. No, Saturday. It was Saturday. We were on our way back from her. She had her little high school reunion and shit. So we were on our way back, and we were just talking about like the conscious community. I have a lot of friends. Like we call them Black love parties. Okay. We invite Black couples over to the house. We cook, we drink, we play games, we have a good time. We talk about spirituality, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of like, people who, I wouldn't say friends, but like, people that we're acquainted with who consider themselves conscious, and I know everyone's human, right? But like, they always kind of fall into this, like, they have behaviors that's like really snakish, or like really, I don't even know the word.
Like manipulative.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of what it's supposed to be. Like it's like toxic in a way. And I was like, man, because I was talking about how I was like super conscious back in the day, and I used to judge people, and treat people bad and say bad things to people.
Look, on that real quick, just a quick caveat. Me and Bob got into an argument when we were younger, where I was trying to I felt like I was so enlightened because I'm reading so much more. And literally we got into like this concept of it was like how could I say it? It was so minimal that it wasn't even, we shouldn't really been arguing about it. Right. But my judgment was so strong that it literally, I ain't come back to our dorm room for weeks.
It was the slavery is a choice thing.
Slavery is a choice. So basically his initial idea was, and which like in hindsight, I see where he was coming from. He said slavery wasn't, it was a choice for the simple fact that they could have chose to die. And like, I'm like, okay, but that's the ultimatum you're giving them. At that time, I felt so disrespected. I'm like, no, that's not a fucking choice. But then when you start to go back in history and you see the people who, like they alluded to in the Black Panther movie, chose to die rather than to be enslaved. Right. Like he wanted them to bury him in the ocean so that he can be with his brothers who chose death over enslavement. Like that was so. I didn't realize how ahead of thinking he was at the time. But
because it's such a sensitive topic.
It's so sensitive.
When Kanye said that shit, I was like, this nigga Kanye, and I love Kanye.
And that's crazy. This happened before the Kanye thing. What? This was years before the Kanye thing.
Okay, this is crazy.
That's what. When that came back up, we were like, yo, what the fuck?
That's nuts.
How? But you're right.
Yeah, man. I like. Yeah. Like that shit's sensitive, but I agree when you look at it from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But you know, my only pushback on that is like, well, what do you say about children?
Exactly.
You know,
they can't choose. They don't even know the concept of choosing that.
Yeah, they're like, what's death? What? I'm gonna play. You know, I don't know. That's my only thought. But what my wife just said, my wife over here commenting big. She's like, "Ooh, y'all get deep." She loves this shit.
I love when you go on it.
But all right, let me get back to my question. And then I'll go back to some of these. Children definitely didn't have a choice. She said, but so my question. So I said to her, because she was like talking about how, like, you know, a lot of people just toxic, egotistical, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know, I get that. And I was like, you know, I said once I realized that what consciousness was, once I started to truly be authentic to who I am. And what I meant was, I believe that being conscious means being self-aware, you know, and because a lot of people, they're trying to portray an idea and portray a look, portray a spiritual system, whatever, but they're not really being themselves, being one with themselves. And like, that's like, right now, that's just where I'm at. It's like, yo, yeah, bro, I like to drink. I like to party. I like to, you know, play video games. I like to dance. I like, you know, I get mad in the morning sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not always the nicest person.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't wake up positive every day.
Yeah, but like, because I acknowledge those things, I can change. I can change those things, you know. But a lot of people are so stuck in their pride and ego that they don't see that part, and they're just projecting what they want from themselves on other people. So my question is, how do you feel about that?
I feel like, one, I'm gonna take it to a point where we are like, everybody that you see is yourself pushed out in some way, shape, or form. So like, I feel like when we come into contact with those who are super egotistic, and at one point we were all egotistic. Right. So we could choose in that moment to be like, all right, like, yo, you and be disrespected by the ego, or we could choose to like just be accepting, because I feel like that's one where you're able to, once you're able to accept, you're able to move forward in life. Like
showing empathy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And once you accept and you show that empathy, that person eventually will find out. Like, everybody's on their own path. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, if you're telling like the young dude that all he cares about is pussy and money and drinking and partying, to not do those things, it's like, yo, he probably was just on punishment for years. Right. You know what I'm saying? And didn't get to experience it. Right. And that was the next level of where he's at. Right. That's not to say that that's who he's going to always be. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's just a matter of accepting that. Like, I get into it with a couple of, like, I got people in my life that, like, they have attitudes all the time or something like that. And it's like, I start to get annoyed with it, but then I'd be like, okay, once you get annoyed, that means you're allowing their energy to affect yours. No, I'm gonna pray for that person's energy, and I gotta maintain my energy and try to, like, maybe I can say something positive or make them laugh to get it out.
That should be hard though.
It do be hard sometimes.
That should be hard, especially when somebody be saying some out of the pocket shit. You like,
but sometimes you do just gotta check this. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's okay. That's another conversation I had with a friend of mine. I was like, yo, I said, as Black men, I said, why are we so afraid to acknowledge when we have a problem with each other? Like, to talk about it. Like, it's like, yo, you'll ghost me, or like, you'll be telling other people why you. It's like, bro, just
talking.
Like, hey man, let me holler at you real quick. Exactly. No disrespect, but I appreciate
a lot of this. You know, can be avoided if we just talk.
Yeah, bro. You know it's just like, dude, it's okay. It's gonna be okay, man.
Facts.
All right, well, I'm gonna lighten it up. I appreciate you, man, going down the rabbit hole a little bit with me. I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you for introducing me to the host.
Yes.
Yeah, we found Alice.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get to a fun question. Let's play a game. I'm gonna do a game.
All right.
We're gonna do. All right. If you are under the age of 18, please forgive me.
Okay.
Because I gotta do this one.
Okay.
Because I want to see what you think.
All right.
So this is fact or opinion. Okay? So basically, I'm gonna say a statement, and you tell me if you think it's a fact, like real, or just my opinion.
Okay.
All right. The first one is wild, and I apologize ahead of time, but I learned this. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. All right. So, fact or opinion.
Okay.
Dolphins masturbate.
I think that's a fact.
Well,
I mean, because I feel like all jokes are like based on true shit, or
Okay.
majority jokes are based on true shit. And I've seen some jokes in life where that happens, and the dolphin like, man,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, dolphins, they freaky, man.
yeah.
They freaky.
And then if you take the SpongeBob, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot of innuendos in that
Yeah.
show that, like,
it was. It's crazy.
Going above
It's
your head
crazy
as a
how
kid.
they do it, though. This is a fact, y'all.
okay,
So dolphins, they'll like, find their prey or a fish or something, and let's say they ain't hungry, but they want to do the thing. They'll capture this fish, bite its head off, take it to the sea floor, and
rub his thing on.
through the decapitated fish.
That's wild.
And that is an absolute.
I think
fact.
it's wild. One, all right. So I'm gonna take this to a metaphysical level, right? So you never had this conversation. This is our first real conversation.
Right.
We met in passing a few times.
Right.
My mother's favorite animal
It's a dolphin.
is a dolphin.
That's
my
crazy.
mother
That's
who's
my mother.
deceased.
That's my mother's deceased, and that's her favorite animal.
So they up here,
Everything-
they're having this conversation
I
with
put
us
that
right
on everything I fucking love. Like our dining room table, the
That's
part that
nasty.
held the glass up was dolphins going around like
That was her
That was-
favorite
yes.
thing.
Oh my god,
Everything.
that just gave me chills.
Yeah, that is wild.
crazy.
So I wonder how they feel about this shit.
Yeah, they're probably cracking up like gosh.
But I did see an episode of King of the Hill where Hank was like petting the dolphin, and then it like
got it right.
it got him. And he was like, oh.
That's funny. All right, I got another one for you. Which one? Let's see which one that one is. Ooh, that's my wife wrote that one. She had to. That's too deep. Okay, this is great. All right, fact or opinion?
Okay.
Pittsburghers are the worst drivers.
I say that's opinion because I'm out in Ohio right now, and them motherfuckers do not be using a turn signal.
No.
Like, at least when we doing some reckless shit, we utilize our turn signals and shit
Right.
like that. Like, we just know how to maneuver a city.
Right.
Like, those long highway, no city driving motherfuckers,
Right.
they do not know how to drive.
Yeah,
Man.
they don't.
I can't stand it.
The
But that's
only
opinion. That's my opinion.
The only thing about Pittsburgh drivers that I don't like is the goddamn Pittsburgh left. I'm like, dude, that's so dangerous, bro. And I get caught with it all the time. And my brakes is bad a little bit. So I'm like, oh shit. I be having to swerve. I'm like, motherfuckers.
Yeah,
But
you
and they
pass
don't be
on
having no turn signal ever. I'm like, where's your fucking turn signal? But all right, cool. All right, so I'm gonna do one more. Let me see if I can find one that's good. What? Who put that? Ooh.
Okay.
Nah, I don't do no Pittsburgh. Should I? Okay, I'll ask you this one because I feel like this can get deep.
Okay.
Fact or opinion? The educational system works.
All right.
He's like, damn, these are good questions.
I feel like that's like loaded. So like it can be fact, but it can also be fiction or opinion. Because I feel like that's one of the things that, like I said, you never had a deeper conversation. Our first one in high school at Woodland Hills, we dealt with the stigma that Woodland Hills is just a football factory because we know so many football players. Shout out to Worm. That run back was crazy. That look, my niggas back in Pittsburgh. But yeah, no. I feel like, but that was a big like thing where like teachers would be scared to come to our school and teach because they'd be thinking that it's such a rough and tough school and it's only about football. Where like the documentary we did, it was a small little short like film or whatever, but it was basically to break that stigma and talk about the culture and the system and the teachers that do care, that help. I feel like it's the people. We have to learn how to utilize the education to what it is. I don't 100% agree with the curriculum all the time. I feel like there's a lot of his story in there, not our story in this curriculum. And I feel like there's a lot of like teaching people to be a part of the machine. But I feel like the basics of it, if you learn to utilize it, you can advance.
Right.
And then also I feel like if you stop holding some of these children back and stop trying to put them on drugs to cope with their lives behind school,
Right.
I feel like they'd be able to advance more. Like I'm one of those students that when I was growing up, they didn't allow me to be in the gifted program, even though I tested in the 82nd percentile and was ready to move forward.
Wow.
They didn't let me do so because they thought that my behaviors were too immature. But my behaviors stem from me not being able to like challenge myself because I would get finished with my work first. I'm done with my work. I got A's on my work, but now I'm going to cut up with the kids that ain't doing work just because it's like they're the only people not doing work. But which I feel like that's part of youth growing up. I wish I would have had the hindsight and been like, yo, you could have helped them dudes a little bit more. But everybody learns at different levels. You got to learn how to get past people's layers, and then the system can work. I feel like there are adjustments that the system can have. So I feel like it's both factors.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
That's what we call that, double-edged sword. Because I agree with you, man. I think that, like, you know, if a nigga can't read, that's a problem.
Exactly.
You know, if you can't do basic math, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you don't know, you know, scientific method and all that shit, you know, those are things you should just know. But I think, you know, for me, it's deeper because I did, you know, social justice education. You know, I work for Pitt even right now, and like in education and arts and stuff like that, there's just a lot of things that are lacking, and there's a lot of things that we're not looking at. And you said it. You said things outside of school. It's like we're not looking at that first. Exactly. That's where education starts. You know what I'm saying? And it's in the community as well. So I think if there were more resources that went towards supporting, you know, Black families or just families in general, or supporting community centers, supporting places like Level Up, you know, that give kids, you know, a different perspective and different, you know, things to learn that they can, you know.
Yeah, I see you guys with the Muay Thai training and everything. Like, yo,
that's all that can be turned into a career. You know what I'm saying? To save somebody's life. And so, you know, I think we need to start there, and it's very systematic. But you know, I do think I value education, so especially secondary education and even post-secondary.
I feel like also one thing I would want to amend with the curriculums anywhere is giving these kids trades early, giving these kids like stock knowledge, real estate knowledge, like stuff that's actually going to benefit them.
How to balance a checkbook.
I feel like there's programs like that because I went through. I feel like my experience is blessed, but like I went through the UPMC Healthy for Life Braddock Summer Camp, and my first job. First they taught us how to write checks and save money and balance your checkbook and everything like that through incentives with like candies and toys in the camp store. But I was able to, once I got my first job through the same program, like apply that to my regular life type thing. But I feel like it's one, like the kids have to be able to access that. The parents have to know that that's out there. Right. But I feel like also community programs like that need to be able to have the funding to be able, and the structure to be able to provide that for more kids, because that's the thing. Like if you wasn't first on that waiting list, you know what I'm saying?
Very limited,
your peoples wasn't getting in, and then it's just like now those are the same kids that you're getting this experience where you're starting to see, you're learning these skills, but also having fun. And the other kids is gravitating towards street economics, and they're learning it from the mud. You know what I'm saying? Like, where, like, don't get me wrong, that could still be flipped to another, like, that's a whole nother, like, life experience that can be good or bad. But at the same time, there's a lot of bad that come with it. You know what I'm saying?
I forgot what I was going to say, but
there are exceptions to it.
Exceptions to it. No, I feel you. I agree wholeheartedly. All right, so I'm gonna lighten up the mood, and then I'm gonna ask a few more questions. Family, if you're just now tuning in, this is episode 102 of the Level Up Podcast. I mean, I got my brother Sabali in the building. We chopping it up, getting deep with it, talking that real shit. You know what I'm saying? But I got a fun question for you. Not necessarily a game, but what would you say? And this can be serious, or you can take it to the like funny route. What would you say is your number one no-no? I love this question.
My number one no-no.
Just Now, like I said, it could be a pet peeve, or it could be like just something you can't fuck with. Like, no, like I can't step on anything that's too mushy. I'll freak out. Yeah. Even with shoes on. Like if I feel anything squish under my feet, I'm jumping like a cat.
So my number one no-no is don't put your feet on me. I'm getting married and I can't stand feet, dog. Look, I'm doing it right now because she's pregnant. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta help her out with that. You know what I'm saying? She's breaking down my layers. She's breaking down my layers. I can't. But like, I'm disgusted by my own feet.
Right.
So like, I don't like if somebody like. I do like people taking off their shoes when they walk into your house, but don't take off your socks and be like all up in your toes. Right. And it, like toes just freak me out. Like don't rub your like playing footsies is not my thing. That's my number one no. I would say number one no. I can't stand. I will literally flip crap with feet. Like it just.
You're like the second person who said that.
Bro, I don't like
the second person.
I don't like it. She's definitely broken down my barrier with that because of the fact that she's carrying my little baby Luna in there.
Right.
But
yeah, I don't like especially for like my wife. It's like it's as long as you got cute feet.
But that's the thing. It took for me 27 years to find somebody that can even go down that route. Right. Like that's wild to me.
You gotta take care of your toesies, baby.
I remember one time in a barbershop, Cass was talking about they brought up the foot thing. And one of the OGs at a barbershop, he's funny as hell. He was like, you know what you got to do? Excuse me with all the kids, but he was like, you got to just pop her tongue in your mouth. Watch it. I said, hell no, nigga, what? Hell no. He said, that's what you got to do, bro. Just pop her tongue in your mouth. I said, hell no. You out here sucking on toes, bro. That's your first. That's your first contact with everything in life is your feet.
Your feet,
bro.
You don't know what kind of day she
then
had.
If you wear socks,
she could have just came from a jog. You never know.
Bro, that's wild, bro. Not everybody washes in between their toes when they're in the shower and shit.
That's that part.
Like toe jams is a thing.
I know some people that let the water get it. Don't let the water
get
it, because the water's not getting it.
You gotta balance yourself out and get in there.
You need a washcloth, and some soap, and some water, and some thorough scrubbing, okay?
And then that's crazy because I'll do that shit and then I gotta wash my body right after because because it's my toes, guys. I just don't even fuck with toes that much.
Oh shit! He said, "Oh, I just grossed myself out. I'm dirty from washing my feet."
My own feet.
Oh, that's fucking.
Like if it was in biblical times, and I'm in Jesus's camp.
Oh yeah, they be washing
your feet.
I
couldn't be the brother washing Jesus's feet.
I take care of my own shit sometimes. I don't like people.
I go to war for you, Jesus, but I can't touch your feet, bro.
Yeah. I feel you.
Isn't that kind of why he walked on water though?
His feet were so massaged. He wanted to get lit. Let's see how he did. All right. Well, let me get one of my last questions. Then I'll have you do a little freestyle for the people. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But what is something big that you're working on currently that you're most excited about?
All right. So I'm working on a few things. So what I'm most excited about is we just launched the Alchemaic website. So you go to alchemaic.com, ALCHEMAEC. That stands for Alchemy Affirmative Energy Crystals. And basically you can start your crystal collection. Every piece is one of a kind. If you want to create your own, not create your own, but pick your own combination, we can do that. You just let us know. There are options for it. But that's like my number one right now. I'm super excited about it. My fiance, she worked heavily on the website, and it just looks really good. The aesthetic is great.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. That shit clean.
Thank you.
That shit real clean.
So that's one of my main ones, and then also the Jean Rock, Welcome to Jean Rock EP. That's my musical project that I'm putting together. So that right there is just basically going to be just a collective of all the work that I've put together over the last couple of years to introduce you guys to Jean Rock. And I say this in front of all of my performances, but Jean is Fulani. It's a dialect in Africa. And basically it means peace. It's how they when they greet each other, they say Jean, and then whatever time of the day it is. So and I gravitated to the word because as a creator, I feel the most at peace when I'm writing the jam or I'm listening to the jam. You feel me? Because it's spelled DJAM. And then Bob, Damien, the whole Marley family, Nas, those guys, I feel boosted my frequency so high. So when I first heard Welcome to Jam Rock, you know what I'm saying? That joint was so fire to me. I was hearing there's different parts in the song, at the end, the little melody. They had sampled that, and it was, I think that came out 2005. They sampled that in I think it was Tierra Marie song. If I might be mistaken on the R&B artist, but it was like it had that. But I was so gravitated to that. But I feel like the EP is basically paying homage to those, especially with the fact my name is Sabali. I adopted the moniker as my name because of the song Patience. When I was going through that, my mom would always tell me like, yo, you're so like, you always think that you can get things done and like so fast. Like you'll be moving too fast. You gotta slow down. You gotta be patient. Life's gonna happen. And it's like it took me so long to really like get that, because I like as a creative, and then when you're actually like a little advanced, you start to think when things aren't coming easy to you, like, yo, what's going on? Like, I'm supposed to be able to conquer this. Like, I've conquered everything else. Why can't I conquer this? So I feel like just paying homage to them who inspired this creativity that comes from me now is necessary to put forth the EP, and it's gonna be dope.
That's dope. That's dope. And so how soon are you hoping to have that drop?
I haven't put any time frames on it, just for the simple fact that like we're going through a life transition with bringing in our first child.
Congratulations.
Thank you, little Luna. She's gonna be amazing. But it's coming soon. I did release like a couple singles from that I'm putting on the project. Meditate just dropped on Friday. So that one's a really good one. I actually first performed that here at the Bars event.
Bars and
yeah,
Platters.
yeah,
I was
man.
there for that.
Yeah, that was lit. That was
one of the judges.
Yeah,
I was one of the judges.
He was. Yep. That was a lit event. That was one of the last times I had performed was Bars and Apex before this year. But yeah, that and Motivate's out right now. Also I got Fame, which is Freedom Above Mortal Existence, where it's wild. Yeah, it's wild.
Oh, that acronym is dope.
Yeah,
Freedom Above Mortal Existence.
Because like Fame, everybody wants to be famous, but like for me, fame is so much different than what other people are like take it as. You know what I'm saying? Like, because once you're able to be like if you believe in reincarnation or you believe in going to an afterlife and life everlasting in heaven, regardless, it's beyond mortal existence. You're going to keep living. You're going to keep living in some way, shape, or form. Spiritually, you might come back as a plant, a nut, a squirrel, something like that. Or you might be in heaven and living in his community. You know what I'm saying? But
it would come back as a fucking nut.
Well, you know what's crazy? I want to come back as a redwood tree. Or not a redwood tree, excuse me, a dragon blood tree. So,
heard of those.
So they're in like the western coast of Africa, like Cameroonish areas and stuff like that. Basically, when you sap the tree, it bleeds. It's like a red sap that comes out of it, and that, like, you know, like the dragon blood smell. That's like where that stems from, or whatever. But basically, it's a tree that's like in danger. So like it's like illegal for them to actually be chopping those down and using it, but it's because it's such a rare wood. But at the same time, people do it all the time. It's one of their leading exports, but it's illegal, right? So but it's crazy because I feel like once we start able to build up the motherland, I literally want to be buried as that tree, to where like now my life is giving oxygen. You know what I'm saying?
You're giving out.
Yeah, I'm breathing.
Yeah, you're opening
the atmosphere.
I was like, that's the word. Nah, that's dope, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to come back or not.
Like I might just be a tiger. You never know.
A tiger, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool.
Until somebody tries to take your
I would want to be a golden eagle because that's my favorite animal.
Eagle would be fine.
Yeah, because I want to fly. Just be.
And they don't have no predators.
George, what you just said? I got you. You got
He's gonna make it happen.
What are you, God? You look like Santa Claus.
I want to fly too.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I'm like, what kind of
No, flying it would be a dope experience.
Yeah, it would be. All right. Well, so as I was saying earlier, you know, Level Up's all about, you know, bringing creative arts to young people and also being a platform for up-and-coming artists and musicians and dancers and entrepreneurs and people like that who want to do things. And so we do this podcast to kind of shed light on those who are doing awesome things in the city and around the city through art. And so if there's an artist out there, young or old or whatever in between, who is just trying to find their way they don't really know what to do, what advice would you give to that young person or to that old person or in between?
I would give them the advice to go internally first, close your eyes and breathe, and try to visualize what you think you want. What do you see? Allow the spirit to guide you to where you're supposed to go. And don't get caught up in the idea of it not happening in a day, like, or in that time frame, or like that it's just not occurring fast enough. Or if you want to switch gears, because at the end of the day, everything's happening in divine order, and you have to trust that. Like, you're never not off your path. It's just a matter of you being accepting of that.
I love that. I'll give you a couple slow snaps for that, man. Appreciate you, man. You're very insightful. Had a few funny moments, so I appreciate that too. But
yeah,
before we
was crazy.
before we hop off, man, just let the people know if they're interested in listening to your music, collabing with you, linking with the website and everything. Just give them all your details one more time, social media and all that.
All right, so you can find me on Instagram, Sabali, SABALI_CLD, because my initials is Cole. Yeah, you like that. But you can also stream me on any platform. You can stream me on any platform, YouTube, whatever. Run them numbers up. I appreciate it. And then other than that, go to alchemaic.com, check out our site. I also want to throw in there, we didn't speak on this too much, but Slap to Health. So a part of Take Charge's campaign is you want to take charge of your health as well, your physical and your spiritual and your mental. Basically, Slap to Health is one of our other family businesses where we sell like sea moss, elderberry, a bunch of herbal teas. For the ladies, you have your steams, bee steams and such. So
what's the website for that?
It's Slap to Health. Slap the number 2 and then health, HE, you know how to spell it. But yeah, those are our platforms, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this and like keep on streaming me, man.
I want to hear you freestyle.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Thank you. See, I almost forgot. I would have got off.
Let's spin.
No, I wasn't trying to skate off. I just was confused for a second, y'all. I forgot. Okay. All right. So before we get off, bless the people with some fresh bars, man. Here we go.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yo, you need a beat?
No, I'm just going to.
They
about to put a beat on? All right, cool.
Yeah, put a beat on. Did the mic will pick it up? You got it? You connected? Yeah. Make sure it's something smooth, man. Turn that up a little bit.
This is nasty.
Already, that intro.
Rock, John. Yeah. I've been low for a while, like a criminal ducking trial, silent as a mouse, hiding from that owl on the prowl, all intentional, working on my spiritual and physical activity makes me minuscule. I promise that this method to this madness, like a menace full of rage without madness or violence, just a hunger for balance and a thirst for success, only to be quenched by a legacy of capital. We call it liquid assets. I had to stop and assess what will work for our best, earning more interest as we watch and invest. All the trauma we sustained, just a heart in our chest. I witnessed armor the Lord made through the trials and tests. A blessed Teflon vest, the evils I did flex, and ain't no weapon of threat. I bet the world gon' respect. Come by my L for the doves, try and see what you get. I say all this to say somebody, man, you should never forget. Nah, man, so you should never forget. Nah, man, so you should never forget. Nah, man. Man, you should never forget. Calvin Daye be a name that you should never forget. Visionary, boy, I see it clearly. How to go legendary from just being ordinary. From the shores of Seychelles is where I'm heading. I'ma keep on moving up to where I'm destined. It don't matter what you saying to me. I keep on blocking, keep on moving forward. Every trajectory that I gotta get, gotta keep soaring when I spit. I don't give a fuck who you talking about. Boy, I know I'm lit. I be rocking out since a young boy, wearing skinny jeans with them young toys. Skateboard kid, how I did it in Brown. Nobody was doing it like a nigga was, so I kept on moving. Niggas would make fun of me like, nigga, you gon' have no room for moving. And them tight ass jeans, but I ain't give a shit. I just kept moving, then I kissed a bitch. I'ma keep on rocking out, I'ma talk my shit. I'ma keep on doing me. Who you starting with? It don't matter cause I'm witty, nigga. Everything is litty, nigga. And my city be the pity, nigga. Rock. Thank you.
He did 2 verses for y'all, family. Okay, that was 2 verses right there. Good shit, man. Well, family, wow, I'm sweating. This has been episode 102 of the Level Up Podcast. Of course, you can follow me, Mario Quinn, at The Mind of Quinn on all social media. Please also follow Level Up Studios at Level Up PGH. Of course, check out our website, leveluppgh.com, /ApexPGH to learn about our expansion project that we are working on. We're doing a lot of work to get this new space, so we need all the support we can get. We thank you again. We love you for tuning in. Stay blessed.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Mario Quinn,
Hit that
we out. Peace.
Jean.